Welcome to Insights into Success. We're with your host Paul Dodds. We hope to educate, inspire and motivate you to achieve your own personal success. We talk to guests from all around the world from a variety of walks of life to hear the realities of their own journey to success. What challenges have they faced? How have they coped with failure? And what have been the keys or will be the keys to their own success? In our Read to Succeed interviews, we talk books that have inspired our guests, and for some, they share their secrets to marketing success. Join us as we give you insights into success. All right, well, welcome back. It's now time for Read to Succeed, and I've managed to persuade Ryan Margolin to stay on after our Insights into Success and share with us, I think, one book that has particularly had an influence on him. So, Ryan, take it away. Tell us about that book.
Yeah, so one of the books that's probably served me the best over the years, and it was kind of a changing moment for me, was a book called Relentless by Tim Grover, and it's really based around, I suppose you can kind of look at it as a mindset thing because it allows you to see things a little differently. Look, Tim's belief is that people fit into three types of brackets. Either they're a cooler, a closer, or a cleaner. And each of those categories brings on certain, pros and cons. Look, for me, it kind of changed the way I viewed things because the key thing it made me realize myself was that, if you allow somebody else's actions to really control your motivation, you'll never be in full control of yourself. Whereas if you can get on and do what needs to be done without the need to be motivated by the words or actions of somebody else, you're in full control of what you do. It's just, look, I think a couple of the key things that I also took from the book was that there's certain things that you need to kind of realize within yourself that if you don't push yourself to be that specific type of person, it's going to be very difficult for you to push through the really challenging moments in either your life or your business. For example, fitting into one of those categories where Tim refers to people as a cleaner, which is, the kind of higher echelon of I suppose, of getting things done. Being able to push yourself, when everyone else has had enough. You're able to get yourself into the zone and shut everything else out and control what other people think are uncontrollable. It's about having a deep understanding of actually who you are. And you have to, realizing that within us, there is a dark side that, refuses to just to be controlled. You are the controller. You're in control of your own everything. And I think I think you're kind of in that position when naturally the people surrounding you, when they hit times of emergency or when they hit that emergency button, everyone looks for you. I think you realize you kind of hit that point when you're the actual go-to person where people feel comfortable that you're going to be able to solve the problem. That's kind of when you're hitting that stage in yourself where you're able to remove all the distractions and focus on the results that's needed in front of you. You become very strong at making decisions. You're not making suggestions, per se, and you kind of automatically almost know the answer when everyone else is looking around asking, the questions. And the realization as well that you don't have to actually love the work, but you do get motivated by the results. So that's kind of what keeps you moving on. And I think one of the key parts in all of that is realizing that, not everyone is going to like you, not everyone is going to approve of the way you do things, but you get to a point where you don't care because you know what needs to be done and you get on and do it. And, I think that naturally allows you to realize that there's so many ways to get the result that you need. It teaches you kind of not to recognize failure. You don't have to do it one specific way. It's not a one size fits all solution. There's always multiple ways of doing it. And one of the things that I've learned actually out of it myself personally is that I've always wondered historically throughout times where we've achieved something inside of our own business where, um, you get a win. I rarely ever stop to celebrate those wins. It's almost like hitting a checkbox and it's like done and next. And I've always asked myself, what is it about myself that I've never been actually able to just stop for a moment and appreciate the result?
Yeah.
But I realized is that when you have this insatiable need to achieve and win and do things and succeed, it's actually quite normal not to stop and celebrate your results while everyone else is, So it took me a while to accept the fact that that's okay. It is important to stop and try to, appreciate the small wins because they're the ones that lead to the big wins. But, I just sometimes and most times don't have that in me. I'm just like, okay, what needs to be done next, So those are some of the key things that the book taught me. And it really just shaped my view of being okay with being the person that is able to just make the decisions and not really concern myself about what other people are going to think, because those are the people who are going to be looking for somebody to solve the problems when it gets really tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty hard thing to do, though. Like you get so many distractions, so much outside noise. It's a pretty hard thing to do, to discipline yourself, to sort of cut out all that noise and just focus on what you need to do and have your energy there, when your energy potentially is getting pulled in all these different directions.
Yeah, and that's the truth. You really do have to become more aware of the energy that you're giving to certain things and protect your space. Most people look, there's times where people might call me brash, or some people might even refer to me as a very rude individual. But the truth of the matter is it's nothing to do with that. I'll always be respectful to somebody, but if I'm in a position where my time and space is very important because I'm trying to achieve something, just don't come near me. Just let me get on with what I have to do. And protecting your space is okay. And you're entitled to that, because those are the things that are going to get the result. Distractions are probably one of the key things that take away energy, is like you just said. Yeah. You could be in the middle of trying to solve something, and then you've got this other problem or here that needs attention, but it's not priority. And that ends up taking away the brain space that you could be putting towards solving this main problem immediately.
It's a hard question to answer, and just throw out a number, but to what extent do you think mindset is key to your success in life?
I think it's everything. And the reason I think it's everything is, if you look historically at what we do as human beings or individuals when things get stressful, we revert back to the habits that we build. So from a mindset perspective, looking at, the habits that you build on a daily basis, I think will stand tall to you moving, forward in times of challenges. For example, something detrimental goes on in work. You've got, whether there's a business problem where sales dip, or you have a compliance problem where you land yourself in hot water and things get really stressful. If you don't have good habits built, you will revert back to the bad habits that you have already. And I think, being strong enough from a mindset perspective to recognize that importance of discipline and having good habits, I think not a lot of people can do that, and there's more people that should be able to do that, because everyone is actually capable of it. It's just whether they're willing to do the work for a short period of time to build those habits.
Right.
And I used to find that, for example, being completely open, I used to be a real bad emotional eater. When things get stressful, I'd go to the closet or I'd go to the fridge and I'd eat, I broke that habit, and, look, I'm in the gym 4 days a week, in the mornings. And I broke that habit. It's like when times get stressful, I find that, exercise or a walk actually serves me much better than shoving food down my neck, because you just end up not feeling great, and
Yeah.
then you're looking at, like, even for example, if things get stressful and you're exercising a lot and you're in the gym and you're doing all the right things, but you still have that emotional attachment to food, all the work that you've done in the gym over the week gets negated by the food that you're shoving down your neck. So, it's about the discipline and the habits that are being built to make sure that you don't do that when times get stressful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I find exercising is great. It's an opportunity to just tune out of everything else, focus on what you're doing, and form your own little sanctuary there for a little while. Where you just doesn't matter what's happening in the world. It can be
Yeah.
all chaos, but in there, it's just you doing your training.
No, exactly. And again, it's the simple solutions that create the biggest impact. And if you just do the simple right things by yourself, you'd actually be surprised how easily things get fixed, because you're in a much better headspace to do that, and you're not looking, for the negative side of the habits that you've built.
Yeah. So tell me, Ryan, with your reading now, no critiquing here or that, but how often do you read?
So I've found, say, in the last 6 months, my time has not allowed me to read as much as I should. So it hasn't been as much as it was, say, a year or two ago. I'd read probably, well, not as much as most now, but I'd still read a book a month. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's still pretty respectable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I try to read, 20 pages a day, really, and try to just make my way through a book, because what I found in my role is that because there's different time zones involved, if I don't intentionally make the time, I'll always have a reason not to do it. So that's where I sit into.
Okay, next question. Just a couple of questions on reading. So the next question is, what type of books are your preference?
It's all business books, personal development books. I mean, it's very cliched and common. My wife is always telling me I just need to read books that spark my imagination. And you know what? I used to read books like that, but I found when I kind of got really focused on developing myself as a person, I became very focused on reading those types of books to pull in, individuals' other perspectives. So who knows? Maybe soon enough I might go back to that other side, but for now that's where I'm at.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
And what's your style reading? Like, do you prefer a physical book, a Kobo/Kindle, audio book? What's your preference?
I'm very much just an actual physical book. My daughter has a Kindle. She reads them, and they're actually amazing because it allows you to have a huge resource there at your fingertips. But I don't dislike Kindles at all. In fact, I would read one, but I actually prefer to pick up a physical book.
Yeah. No, I get it. I've got both. Like, I mainly read books, but I do have a Kindle as well, because they are convenient. And I like the fact with the Kindle, if you're not sure of the meaning of a word, you can just tap on it and find the definition and help expand your vocabulary.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that is, that's definitely a good attribute.
Yeah. And just very finally, audiobooks. Have you ever listened to them at all? What's your thoughts on them?
I do when say if I'm on the cross trainer or something, and I'm sitting, I'm running on it for 40 minutes or so, I put an audiobook on. I love listening to them, but I find that for me personally, it takes a lot more effort to retain the information than it would if I'm actually physically reading it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, because I think I don't really listen to audiobooks, but that would be my natural inclination, is I think I'll probably retain it better through physical reading rather than listening.
And that's the way it works for me. Again, it works different for everyone, but for me, I retain information better when I read it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ryan. Appreciate you staying on for Read to Succeed. Good to see. It looks like a sunny day there in Ireland, so we can't say bad things about Irish weather, so that's good.
Well, today you can't, so it's all good.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I know that you're a busy man with what you guys are doing, but it's been a real pleasure. So thank you.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure.